Okay, Counselor.
Hello, how's everyone? All right. Good to see
Okay, you ready to call the health and safety at 6:31?
you. You ready?
Yeah, or 5:31, correct, yes.
Okay, the Health and Safety Committee meeting is being called to order. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Counselor Gowdy, Counselor Smith,
Present.
and Counselor Martin.
Present. Let's proceed, Madam Clerk.
Okay, the time is 5:31. First is police department updates. A police department presenter is Chief Gardner.
Thank you. And Chief, you want to say anything? And I give us an update. You want to say anything about the grants that we blew? It's fine. We want everything for the record, okay? Good to see you this evening.
Certainly,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
Council President. We actually were also able, and I don't know if legislation has been presented at this point to the council, we were actually just able to also secure an additional grant of $128,000 for body cameras.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's what you're looking at. All right.
Right, and my concern, and I'm gonna reach out to the council people is, we have it here, but we don't have it as an emergency. And I want to really move it. I don't want to delay it. I want to move on. Do we have a time limit on this?
No, Council President. I mean, the grant just needs to be passed, I think. I think there's plenty of time. There's no.
So
no
we
need for
could
an emergency.
do first read, or we could do emergency. Wow, what do you think?
First and second read,
First and second
because you're
read?
going to take 4 for an emergency. So the way that they send it down, we're ahead of the game.
Okay.
So you'll be able to pass it with 3 votes. If you
Alright.
have more votes, that's fine, but at this point in time, it'll be a first and second read. In April, it'll be done by middle of April.
Okay, thank you. Let the record reflect we have a quorum. You may proceed, Chief Gardner.
And I just wanted to also show you that the actual equipment the council approved and purchased is now in full operation. The police
Oh.
department was actually in training. Second, I don't know if that's messing.
What's that called?
The camera.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
What's that called, Chief? Right there?
This is our body camera, Council President. So. I was
Is this
basically
the
just-
one that's in front of us right now?
But this is the one that council actually approved.
Okay,
The grant is going to reimburse essentially what council has already approved, or at least a portion of it.
okay.
But this system is in full use right now. It's essentially off of cellular data technology, so it's actually transmitting, not right now, but when it's on, it's actually transmitting in live form. Up and down, supervisors are actually able to log in and see what officers are doing on each call. There are certain alarms that automatically will activate the camera. One, if an officer draws his firearm out of the holster, if an officer engages in foot pursuit, and finally, when an officer is dispatched to a call, it actually hooks up with the GPS on the phone device and actually will trigger and start actually recording just within a 200-foot proximity of the call itself. So the whole premise and purpose of it, as I promised council, was to show more transparency, and this allows less human error because officers do sometimes forget to turn on the camera. This makes it almost autonomous where the camera is activating pretty much for any event. Traffic stops, anything of that nature, the camera is automatically going on.
All right, now that's the first one we passed. And now that we have another one in front of us, right?
Yes, Council President.
So what differentiates for us how that works?
So my hopes is taking the grant money that is before council at this point
Okay.
and
This is
continuing with the program.
122,388,
Right. $122,000.
$388,
Right.
388, correct.
Go ahead, Chief.
So I'm hoping to continue to take that money and to now advance into actually in-car camera systems that are of the same manufacturer, so they will actually integrate with this system right off the bat. Right, so that's the purpose, and that actually will not actually encompass the entire amount. The other amount essentially will go back into general fund and replace what council has already spent on these.
Okay, that's a win-win situation, right, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
how do you feel about the technology?
I love it, Council President. I mean, I think there's actually one other agency that we just found out today. I don't remember who it was. Strongsville. It's the only other agency in Cuyahoga County that has this technology. And again, I mean, it's great technology because you can literally pull up, supervisor can pull up right now and see what Officer Jones is doing on the street right now. So I mean, it's great technology. And again, the fact that it automatically activates for calls, things of that nature. So I mean, there's going to be no accidental steps down to the point where it's not activated. So.
All right. Mayor, you want to say something about this?
It's a great day for the city of East Cleveland. The safety of residents and accountability of us all. So thank you, Chief. Thank the police department for working on these grants, bringing in resources much needed.
Okay, I wanted to have the law director here to, the 2 grants that we couldn't get voted for emergency, and we had a couple of people, couple of council people, one was sick and they weren't here. Are we okay with that? I know we made some changes to see if we could move on it. I don't know what the status of that is. Do you?
So I wish Willa was here. My understanding is that it is in waiting for us to finalize the passage.
So did they give us time to do 2 readings? That's
From my understanding, we need Willa here to confirm that, but that was my understanding.
okay. She'll be here and we'll find that out. Would you feel comfortable with the technology? Is that correct, Chief Gardner?
Right, yes, Council President, absolutely, yes. And I actually do have an additional document I'll give to
Tracy.
Tracy. This is actually information from the 4th district relative to one of the passages we're trying to look for council to pass for ShotSpotter. That's actually the statistics from the 4th district who's been utilizing ShotSpotter, I believe, since 2020.
Yes.
And it has been quite effective for the 4th district of Cleveland to use.
Now, the license plate reader, how are we with that?
Well, I'm hoping council's gonna pass that.
Right, that's why I hope before we conclude today that we get to hear from Willa to see what she has to say. Okay. We got up here, police department update. Anything? I know there was a shooting or someone got shot in the leg or whatever. Kind of update with what happened with that situation and give us a little background on that, please.
Certainly. I mean, there's not, obviously it's still under investigation, so there's not a lot I can say to it.
Okay.
Officers were responding to actually a noise complaint relative to loud music.
Okay.
When they arrived, they ran the license plate, and the license plate came back stolen. And then during the engagement, a shot was fired, and the male was transported with minor injury to the hospital.
Minor injury.
Yes.
Why was the person shot?
I mean, again, I don't, in a public forum, Council President, I don't.
You
I
can't say
yes.
anything about it. Okay. Ask you, council person. Okay.
Her voice.
For voices.
So let me go back and get some perspective here. The ShotSpotter was that $150,000 one?
I believe it was 100.
Was it 100?
48.
144?
144.
And the license plate reading was how much?
That was a
Was that
74,000.
74,000.
Right. Now this one is how much?
122,000.
So we're talking about what? Almost $300,000 in grants?
Yeah, the other one was 140,000 for the ShotSpotter. Mhm.
All right. I want to thank Officer Gerhardt. Am I pronouncing his name right?
Gerhard.
Gerhardt for writing grants and thank you guys for getting them. Okay, whatever we get to make, to protect the police and the citizens and show transparency is a good situation. Okay. Go ahead. Got it.
Also, my voice is gone, but I'm just going to try to explain what I'm talking about. The police officer that jumped on that young man, this is still on investigation. They keep the young man in the back.
Yeah,
Yes, it is still under investigation. It was actually turned over to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office. From my understanding, they are actually presenting it to a grand jury.
okay. Okay. We gotta keep us informed about it because we're out in the street, people ask about it all the time. What happened? What happened? What happened? They don't think we done anything. I said that he has rights, he has the right to go through the process, he's gotta go through the process. But I told him, I'm almost sure that there'll be some discipline in the situation.
Yes, Council President. I mean, essentially, we were waiting for the external part to take place. Whatever the grand jury decides will be a determining factor of how we proceed internally.
Okay, I was looking at this and I was reading it, well, we get 16 of these body cams on this,
49, Council President.
49?
Yes, or are you talking about off the grant or off what we purchased?
Well, right here, this,
The grant, those are gonna be for 10 in-car camera systems.
okay. Is Counselor Smith, can you hear us?
Counselor Smith?
Yes, yes.
You have any questions?
No, but I really want to say, I want to thank the chief, commander, captain, and our entire police department for keeping your word, being very transparent. Just want to say thank you, and I look forward to voting on this piece of very important legislation, so we can get this equipment again, so we can slow down on the chases like you gave your word. And I really want to thank you, I believe, on behalf of mostly the entire council.
Thank you, Councilman.
And I need to say that Art McCoy had real good things to say about the police department and about the communication you guys are having and you reaching out to the citizens. That's a win-win situation. Thank you for that. Okay. Anything that the citizens and the council need to know about the police and anything else that you need to update us on?
I think, Council President, we're pretty good. I mean, from the last meeting, can't think of,
It is a few things.
okay. If you don't mind, I can start.
Yes.
Hello, council.
Pronounce your name, Larry down.
Sergeant Larry Donald
Okay.
Jr.
Okay.
Good day, council, good day, mayor, good day, citizens, clerks. It is a few things that should be gone over as far as,
Okay.
it's now turned into spring, going into summer. We're trying to clean up the city. Have a lot of vehicles with expired tags and things of that nature on the city streets. Just giving you all a chance to get those vehicles taken care of off of the city streets for expired tags and things of that nature, flat tires. No. We've been getting a lot of complaints, council, with the traffic and the speeding and not stopping at the stop sign on Lee and Glen. So we enforce traffic in that area. Been up there at night, we've been having some problems. I've been up there also myself at night.
You glad?
Yes, sir. And the little corner there in the treasure, the little brick,
Right there.
has been damaged a lot of times at that location. I was actually gonna go to the mayor's office, maybe we can get one of those lighted up stop signs. That would probably decrease a lot of that, going through the stop sign. All that's about. pretty much
That's it?
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking about a situation there. And you guys continue doing what you're doing in terms of that situation. That's like when you come up Lee Road and when McGregor is to the left,
Yes, sir.
right in that area.
Yes, sir. Right there in that area. Also, I want to know, if you guys can pass along my number for any community events, community meetings, we want to be there. Chief's office is open arms for any type of meetings where we can sit down and talk to the community to make sure that things are running how they want to run. I also have a number for them to put out as well.
This is your number?
This is actually the city number that was issued to community policing.
Okay, let us have the number.
It's 216-319-3188.
319 3188.
Yes. Any type of information that the community wants to give the police department is confidential. You don't have to leave names if you want to give information, if you have any type of problem, trash, any type of nuisance, anything that the police can handle, you can call that number, leave a message, and or text.
How we doing, both of you guys, how we doing in terms of hiring more new police when we lose these to the higher paying police departments? How we doing in terms of our staffing?
Council President, we're working on it. As always, anybody that's viewing, anybody here, anybody that knows anybody is looking for a position, I encourage everybody to apply. I mean, again, we're not the only community that's going through a difficult time right now, hiring police, retaining police. But anybody I encourage. And I did have Council President, Sergeant McClamrock actually reminded me of one other important thing. Tomorrow, we actually start our Star Chase technology training with the police department, which is again was something that council and the mayor promoted very hard to again attempt to mitigate the pursuits in the city. And against that's the technology that's mounted to the police units. It shoots like a puck device onto the vehicle and immediately starts tracking the GPS location of that vehicle. That training starts tomorrow.
So you start your training.
Yes.
How long will the training be?
The training lasts 2 days. I don't know how long it's going to be until they're fully installed in the units. All installed by Thursday. All will be installed by Thursday. So I think there was 4. We have 4 units that are going to have that technology. We're going to assign 1 car per shift, so that every shift has one of these vehicles.
Who's doing the training?
The company is doing the training. But you guys are more than welcome. I think it starts at 8 o'clock.
So, tomorrow I'll be doing install and learn it. I'll become an actual certified installer for the company. So anytime we have repairs or we have to replace it, we don't have to pay them to come out and do it. Thursday, we're actually gonna start the actual in-house training with the cars, and that'll start at 10 a.m. and we'll probably go to about 5:36.
Sergeant McClamrock, with that being said, if council did want to go, we can give a transfer over to the site location to view it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want to go see it, we can have you guys take over.
I would highly encourage you guys are going to see.
So when was what you suggested be a good time?
Well, I will get with Sergeant McClamrock and I'll go to council.
Let Tracy know
Yes.
we'll try to be there, right? Did you hear that, Brother Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sergeant McDonald, I want to thank you for being up on that intersection. It's a very dangerous intersection. It's a brand new street sign up there that's leaning. So I would assume that they got into some type of accident. But the light up stop sign is a very good idea. I drive that area every day. And unfortunately, the cars coming down a lot of times do not want to stop at the stop sign that's coming down on Lee and Glenn right there. So I just want to say thank you for being on top of that. And to my colleagues, if there's anything that we can do, I highly positively suggest that we also get on top of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Val, you had anything else?
No, I just want to thank y'all for getting by the campus and for the safety of the citizens in my community and people that's coming through our city. And I just want to thank you for the job that y'all.
Thank you, Council.
I concur too. Mayor Brandon King was, go ahead.
Thank you, Council President. I'll just give a couple
All
of
right.
tidbits. So we did order some more green stickers. before we sold cars. And remember we started a couple years ago?
Yeah,
So we actually ran out of green stickers. So we had to get some more green stickers. We're gonna sticker and then we're gonna remove a lot of these, would seem to be vacant and abandoned vehicles. The intersection of Lee Road and Glen
mhm,
is on the list of streets to get stuff done to it, including a blinking stop sign. We've already gotten the quote and are on the list for the guardrail that's there to be repaired and for additional guardrails to be put up. The young lady in the house there is scared that people are getting closer and closer to her house, right? The brand new sign is leaning. The 25-mile-per-hour sign is bent, right? It's wonders how, they either don't see the stop sign or don't recognize traffic coming and don't stop. But a blinking stop, like we had at Lee in Forest Hill Boulevard, we're moving one of those over there, and we actually do have the replacement light for Stanwood and Terrace. They just need to be installed. So I just had those.
Gentlemen, anything else you want to share with us?
I think we're good now. Thank you, unless you have any questions for us.
All right, basically, Scotty has a question. Get all that information to our clerks, either Tracy or, yes, Tracy.
You had that question, that's what that paper was,
Yeah.
about the gun buyback, to get it going again?
What's going on with that? Has it come to a screeching stop now, or what?
We still have availability if somebody has.
We still got money left in there from.
Yes, Council President, yes.
Okay, well, you know what, I used to send them out when I do my mailings. So now that I know it's still in existence, I got a meeting tomorrow and I'll pass them out. Okay, all right, okay.
Also, the Tony, I heard, Mayor say something about, did we
I know we had a bid come in, and then, and I'm not sure what happened to it after we put it in legislation and we sent it down. I'm not sure what happened to it.
company. We got to pass a bid, because if they're gonna be told anything, they gotta be legal, told.
So we put it out to bid, and the bids came back with an independent review and a recommendation made to council. Okay, so what we can do is go back in it and revisit it and send it back down to council. Okay. To look at it again. Okay?
All right, we gotta do.
It's a citizen.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you have something you want to say?
Yes, I just had a comment about the towing.
Okay, stand up.
Hi, my name is Linda King, and
Hi, Ms. King, how are you?
good, and you. I wanted to say something because my family lives on Pontiac,
Okay.
and
Right off Haiti, right?
yeah, it's a dead end street right before you get to Eddie Road. There is no driveway, and her car was towed the other day. Where is she supposed to park at? Her tags were not expired,
Okay.
and her car was towed. So there's no sign that says no parking, but there's nowhere for her to park because the house actually sits like up on a hill. So it's just the front grass, and then it's the neighbor has to the next side has a driveway, and the other neighbor on the other side has a driveway. That's why they made the house with no driveway.
Could you, get with Gardner?
Can you get with Gardner or here?
It was a couple days. What day was that? It was a few days ago. It hasn't even been a week ago. No, it's about a week ago. It was about a week ago. It was on the 15th. It was on the 15th.
If you can give my EA the information on the vehicle, we'll talk. Yeah, I mean, if there's no driveway.
Yeah,
and
there's no
vehicles-
driveway, and then they're scared, like, what are they supposed to do, from this point on? Now they're scared because it's like, what do you do? And I mean, the house next door is the lady's not staying there right now, so they've been taking a chance parking in there, but it's like, it's a 2-family house, so it's like, what are they supposed to do, and what do their company supposed to do because there's no driveway?
I'll make certain also to put out notification to the shifts
Okay,
I don't think Pontiac is one of the streets anyways that has.
because I know the
Parking
police,
restriction.
I mean, it's good that they hang around that area anyway for speeders, but it's like when you start messing with people without really investigating, because like I say, her sticker was not expired. She was just parked there. And because there was nowhere else to park, because there's no driveway, and her car got towed.
We'll get it resolved, ma'am,
Okay.
and like I said, I'll put out notification, make certain officers know that that's, there is no driveways on the street and to give a layoff to that street.
Okay,
All right,
thank
I
you.
apologize.
Thank you. And I would you come up for a second? Okay. We wanted to get, what was the question we were gonna ask, Willa?
You asked her about the extension on the LPR.
Yeah, the readers,
That's what I was saying.
right. Are we able still, even though we had two council people, the one was sick and whatever the case may be?
Yes,
Okay, give us an update on that, please.
well, we have someone who has a direct relationship with the, company and,
Okay.
Exxon Company, and, they've been kind enough to allow us to, go forward.
So we're able to do 2 reads to get this passed. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Willa, is there any more money behind it? Do we owe more money? No, it's just the grant, right? Okay, all right, thanks. Okay.
Thank you, great, good work for all of you. Thank you for the police, thank you what you guys are doing. If we can get some of these cars off the street to, be careful in terms of make sure that, if it's expired or whatever, do what you have to do, okay? I wonder,
Hello,
yes,
yes. Is the
Who-
police chief, this is Shirley Fitzpatrick.
yeah, wait a second, Shirley,
Okay,
wait a second. What do you do in situations like the Pontiac situation?
So we have to
give
look
them a light.
into it and see what happens. There are a number of streets that there's no parking overnight. I
Okay,
do not believe Pontiac is one of them. So we have to dig into it to see what actually happened and why this car was towed. And trust me, we'll make good where we were bad. And moving forward, right, we understand that that is a resident of the city, right?
Yes.
It wouldn't be a problem. A lot of times, or sometimes residents have cars when the plates aren't registered to the city, and that's when it becomes,
It was registered to that house.
then it should have been no problem, and we'll take care of it.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for coming and thank you for working with you. Okay, Shirley Fitzpatrick?
yes, good afternoon, everyone. Is the chief still there?
Yes, the chief is still here.
Okay, I have a question in regards, last week at Salvation Army, there was, I guess there was some kind of training on the body cams. And I I was speaking to a couple of the police officers and I asked for their business cards. Why don't all police officers have business cards?
I mean, that's a good question, Ms. Patrick. I don't know. I don't know, necessarily. Generally, detectives and sergeants and above have been the only one traditionally that have had business cards. Generally, we do have like a generic card that an officer could present his information to. But that's actually an excellent question. I mean, I'm not opposed to ordering business cards if,
Yes, only because if you want to build a relationship with the community and the police officers, I think that any situation, the police officer that's there for a violation, as long as they have contact with the citizen, they should give the citizen a business card to build a relationship. Even if a police officer does something good, the citizen can call the police department and say, so-and-so did this, we appreciate it. Instead of, well, we have 3 shifts, 3 different officers each shift, and we don't have a clue who that could be. I think to build a relationship, all of them should have a business card.
Ms. Fitzpatrick, I love it. I like the idea.
Okay, how you feel about
Okay.
that, Randy King?
That's something that we have to sit down and look at just to be quite honest with you, I'm all for community policing.
Okay,
However, if it's something that we can go back to having the cadets sign a waiver that they're gonna be here for X amount of time, right? So that when we make the outlay, shoes, guns, vests, cards, that in 6 months, they're not poached. And we're just stuck with that expense, right? So if we can do that, then absolutely, right? Other than that, the current policies, once they've been here, right, and we know they're gonna stay, yeah. So once you, and we usually lose the new guys, a year and a half, and they're gone. Anybody past that, we're pretty good in holding on to them.
Okay, I guess I'm looking at protect and serve.
So protect and serve is always our number one priority, is safety first.
Mhm.
Even if they don't have a card, they should have a badge on with a badge number that identifies exactly who you're talking
And nameplate.
to. And a nameplate, I forgot about that. So, yeah. Yeah, so you can identify who the police are.
Okay, well, I really hope you guys look into that. It's nothing like a citizen having an actual card given by an officer identifying them. Something about building a relationship. That's what I'm saying.
we hear you, Shirley Fitzpatrick. We'll discuss that. Okay.
We'll look further into it. Like I said, if we can get it on the agreement that the officer can leave within a certain period of time, they have to reimburse the city for these expenses. That's no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Larry McDonald, go ahead.
Well, we do have generic business cards. Generic business cards, generic business card is, it identifies who we are, which is the Cleveland Police Department. It identifies our address. It also identifies what crime we're there for, what's the report number, also the officer's last name along with his badge number. The telephone number that's on the card comes to the police department, not their personal numbers. So we do not give those. However, we do give the department's telephone number so they can call and say, hey, can I speak to Officer McDonald? And can I leave a message if he's not there? And we do have message lists that we send out to the officers for
Do
every
you have the officer's last name on the card? Well,
Yes,
That's,
that's the business card that she wants, and I can get with the chief, and the chief can get with the mayor, and get those generic cards back up and running for our community, so we can move forward.
Yes, so the Officer McDonald, I have about 4 of yours, and Chief Gardner, I have about 5 of yours. Because I always ask for cards whenever I come in contact with an officer. Not for anything shady. I just want to build a relationship, and if something happens, I have a connection to an officer personally.
okay, great.
I agree.
So can we do that, Mayor? Is
Please.
that consensus with everyone? All right.
Okay, Mr. Irby's got his hand up.
Calvin Irby?
Mr. Irby?
Good evening, council.
Hi, how are you?
I'm getting better. I have a problem with parking on Elm Street. As you see, this is my driveway. This is my driveway.
I can't.
That's a car that's been there.
We can see.
Okay. This is your Civic Center field. This is how the track mark tires from when they put out on the house. This is their debris that they left. When is that gonna be addressed? We shouldn't have to deal like this. You hire contractors to do this, demos, and they leaving all their debris.
Yeah.
And if I'm cutting this, and like we say about our equipment, money is priceless. We shouldn't be risking our equipment a tire. This is terrible. Then they drug out the loader that shouldn't have even been in this field. You see it was too soft to put it in there. It took them an hour to get it unstuck. All these vehicles are supposed to be removed after 3 a.m. We would like that to be done on our street. This is ridiculous to come out to nobody owning these vehicles. And it's terrible. Would like for somebody to address that ASAP. Thank you.
Well, we, go ahead.
I mean, that was Mr. Irby.
Mr. Irby,
Yeah,
yes.
I can definitely, Mr. Irby, I can definitely address the vehicles parking overnight immediately. I will get with our service director relative to the debris that was left over in that field.
And the mayor and them, they're gonna, these expired plates and all that, they're gonna have to focus on that right now, with the weather being better. Is that correct? We brought it up earlier, Calvin. So we're gonna, there's gonna be a focus on that, okay? All right?
Council. just
Yes.
real quick, that vehicle that was towed on Pontiac did have expired plates. That's why it
Okay,
was towed.
okay.
But I'm sure she's working out something with
She did.
our
She
manager right
did.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank you all,
guys.
Mayor. Thank you, council.
Before you guys go, any, mayor,
No, great job.
okay, anybody else? Yes, Christine.
I just wanted to, hi. I came because I wanted to talk to you about the new officers. I've been in East Cleveland for 24 years, and Officer McDonald was one of the ones that my kids grew up knowing, and Officer Bond and all of them. And I have, you know, they helped me raising my kids, especially my one son. And that was one of the comforts that I had in being in East Cleveland was the police officers in the school system, because, you know, I had a great relationship with the principals and the school. And now we have new officers who I don't know. And it's like my oldest daughter is 37. And I made sure that she has license and insurance, but she had a situation where she had a ticket that she didn't pay. And I guess she forgot about it. And they sent her out a notice, but she used to stay on the Orinoco and she moved and she got to Fort her. They didn't, you know, have the new address. So anyway, it was 4 o'clock in the morning and she was up on Euclid. And the police officers stopped her. And I guess when they read her information, it showed she had a registration block or whatever because of the ticket. Okay, so they told her car, okay, that's procedure, whatever, but it's like they kind of harassed her. They drove, like, have a nice walk home, and you know, taking her ID, just doing stuff to her that was inappropriate. She came to the hearing and she also filed a complaint against the officers. Then the same officers a week or two later stopped her again, and I paid the ticket, but I guess it was a $25 reinstatement that we forgot to pay, and it still was showing that it was a block. So they towed her car again and made her walk home again. And they tortured her again. And the thing is, you know, I don't like that type of relationship. And I wanted to know, what can we do to, even I had a situation where I was over to my old house on Scioto, and I have a 20-year-old granddaughter, and she was had a situation, and the officers that came, Officer McDonald was one of them. But Officer McDonald really, because he knew us and because we had a relationship, he diffused the situation and he told the officers not to argue with my daughter. I mean, they were really like aggressive. And I know kids have mouths today, you know, but you can't respond like that. And it's just because we don't know anybody, and I'm worried because now I have my grandkids growing up in the city and I want that same safety and relationship that I had with my kids growing up. So what can we do to know, like she said, who's working in the city? You know, I see old police officers working for out Euclid, whatever, and I could still have a conversation with them because I had that relationship with them. So it was like, how do we get a relationship with the new officers? How do we feel safe with the new police officers, not scared to death when they pull us over? You know, I'm worried now because, you know, when you're messing with grown people who, I mean, she wasn't selling drugs, she wasn't doing nothing wrong. And then another issue, I'm trying to get everything out, is the sportsmen on Euclid. It's like, okay, we got all these establishments that has been around, yes, that's fine. But it's like, we have gotten comfortable with, and they're kind of doing whatever they want to do. I had to go up there and go off because my 17-year-old daughter was up in there drinking. That's not acceptable, you know, and it's like, no management had no positive response about it, and it's still going on. So instead of people being outside towing cars, how about somebody going in there, sitting and checking IDs, making sure that everybody in there should be in there? How do we get stuff like that back?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Chief. No, I'm very sorry. the sportsman has been addressed. I received a complaint. I told the chief. Also, been going to the sportsmen on their busiest nights, checking the parking lot, checking the IDs, because we're not gonna have that in this city.
I appreciate that.
So I am doing my due diligence. You could ask counsel back in the back. I'm at that sportsman.
I mean, if
All
you
the
say
time.
if you say it, I believe you. I mean, cause
I will, but the chief gonna have his part to say, but I do want all the community to be safe. And police are approachable. And if they're not, this chief right here will handle it.
okay.
We just need to know who the person is, who the officer is.
Well, we don't know them.
We-
Like
you're
no
gonna know.
cards, no
We'll
cards.
every shift have a supervisor.
Okay.
If you're not, it's no reason to go back and forth. All you have to do is ask for a supervisor. That's why the council just passed. They have these nice body cameras. He wanted right on here with me. Every officer have a camera. So that's why this officer, this administration will handle these complaints quickly. Okay, so let's move forward. If we have a problem or concern with a police officer not acting in just, let administration take care of it.
So is it a way to get some type of way to know when new officers come, like like we used to get bulletins and stuff, you know, some type of way to say, okay, this is officer such and such new to the city or something like that? Can we do something like that? Is it possible emails or something? Some type of East Cleveland, you know what I'm saying? Like some Facebook, something saying, okay, this is the new officer for the city, you know, or such and such retired or such and such left. So we kind of have an update, you know, like something like Miss Pat, like she was saying, but a little bit more, something we can know, because I'm really concerned with that. I mean, I got a lot of grandkids. I got 16 grandkids out here, you know, so I need to know that, you know, my baby's gonna be safe. You know, I don't want them to mistake them for being like dangerous, you know.
You're making an excellent valid point, man, right? So what I'm going to do to be committed, first off, are you a friend on our Facebook page?
No, because I don't
Okay.
know about it.
So if you go on, look for East Cleveland Police, we have a Facebook page. I am actually very active on our Facebook page, but you gave me an excellent idea, and I will start that.
Okay.
I think that is important. We should
So you're gonna
introduce our new
start
officers.
what, Chief?
Flyers
Flyers, or what about these card thing that she suggests? We're gonna do that too, right?
Send out letters.
Yeah,
And I would
welcome
also, as Sergeant McDonald was talking about, I think, look, you know, some of the special neighborhood groups, right? I would like to bring out the officers to introduce and
that
for
would be
everybody to
nice,
meet.
yeah.
so I please invite us, is I guess what I'm asking. If not, we
Because
can
knew
start making our
everybody's
own.
name. I don't know none of the new police officers' names, you know. It's like I still know everybody's name, you know, and he like family, you know. And I appreciate that because I couldn't have did it without them. I mean, I'm not saying I know my kids was bad and did some stuff, but one thing about it I was here when Tiffany Cleveland, all of them was here, and you know, and they put my son been in that jail many times. Whatever they had to do to discipline him, I gave them the permission to do that. And I appreciate that type of relationship. And I don't want, if you have to take one of my little grandsons and lock them up, ride them around, whatever, that's fine. But don't hit them, don't shoot them, you know. I don't want that, you know.
Well, I do want to have one positive thing to say, then I'll walk out of here. One positive thing to say. Worked hard with the mayor's office. Hard, mayor. I love this kid. I love this kid. I want to be a policeman. Kid coming to the police station, come here, watch the police car, do whatever he could. He got of age. He went to college. Now here he is now. Come on here, Scott. He's in the police academy on our dime. On our dime. So this is what we're trying to do with the city. We trying to build. So when the chief said, we're looking for minorities, we're looking for anyone that want to work for our city and learn how to be a true police officer, here it is.
And we have an opportunity right now. I hope you don't mind me speaking about personal business here for a second, all right? All right, we were able to pay through the help of Ohio Jobs and Means for his police academy. Something that we are attempting to do to any resident of the city that is looking to be a police officer, does not have the academy, we can do the same thing. Right? So I just.
All right,
Now,
thank you.
Mary, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I love this conversation, really warms the heart. So you remember a couple years ago, we've been developing relationships all over the state. Ohio Means Job, put them over at the library to work with residents, in particular those youths just out of high school, or those couple years out didn't really have directions. We weren't talking about just jobs, we were talking about careers.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic came,
Mhm.
just kind of threw things sideways, threw a monkey wrench, even the special purpose grant 33 that we finally unlocked.
Okay.
And then that became thrown sideways with the whole pandemic. So to bring Ohio Means Jobs back online and now utilize them in this fashion is a win-win for the city. And they wouldn't have done this before the pandemic. They wouldn't have done this type of arrangement pre-pandemic. But now with the pandemic, you know, things are moving around. How can we best utilize these funds? So I'd like to thank the chief and the police for following up on that and bringing that young man in. Also before the pandemic, because born and raised in the city, I can tell you about community policing. I can tell you Johnson and Copeland, they can follow me around, right? I mean, RTA regular. Right, we know you one of the King boys. Get on out of here. You remember Burroughs, Clayton Burroughs? He was like a truant officer, right? So we had all of that here. So to bring back community policing is big for me. I know the benefit I had, just like you had, right? With that, pre-pandemic, we were going to the churches, making our rounds at the churches. We started these neighborhood groups back in 17. Police were going out to all the neighborhood groups, right? Sitting down with the residents, talking to the residents, right? One of the challenges we have and we will continue to have is because of our pay is actually not the lowest, but it is on the lower side. It's hard to keep police officers, especially the new ones, right? And we hear it all the time. Police officers leave, they say, if y'all get y'all pay, we'll come back. Because they love this, they love the people, they love working for the city of East Cleveland. So I would say stay tuned, right? We will be revisiting our friends over at Cleveland State University. Ronald Dunn, who was a expert in the area of sensitivity training for police, did that 2 years ago with the intent on redoing it, right, over a certain amount of time, and then we'll bring in new officers. So stay tuned for that, and we just started the onboarding, so this just adds to the onboarding. So thank you for that. I deal with the online stuff.
Thank
And then
you.
that's it.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna hit, okay, thank you. Okay, keep in mind the business cards and some of the good dialogue we had here today. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Councilman.
Okay, all right, David Ward. All right, how are you, sir?
I'm already, sir.
All right, just give it an update with the fire and anything we need to know. I know that we 2 or 3 of us had a chance to go to Fire Station 2 and Fire Station 1. I asked the mayor for you guys to prioritize. We can't do it all, but that's we have to prioritize. So it's in your hands now, Chief Warden.
So as far as anything that's going on in the fire department, our fire trucks finally arrived, it's here. Actually got put to use that fire a few hours ago, so it was a good thing to have that brand new.
Okay, that's the thing right down here on Euclid. Yeah.
We have the Red Cross Fire Detective, Smoke Detective Program that's back officially going. I had a meeting with them. There's 2 ways that a person can go about getting smoke detectors. One, they can call the Red Cross directly. And that number is 216-361-5535. That's
5535.
216-361-5535. 5535.
You can get the smoke detectors.
But what it is, you'll call that number, it'll send them through some prompts, it'll ask them for some information, and then they'll reach out to me. The other way is to directly call me on 216-681-2413. 681-2413. You call me directly and I'll go ahead and set it up. I'm gonna handle the smoke detector program myself. So it'll be set up for me. As people call me, we install 3 this week. So people call, you want us to install it, my guys come out and install it, or you just want them delivered to you, deliver it to you. So, but that's the smoke detector program. So we're still working on other things, because you guys are there, we have a fire engine in the squad, as you all know, that's going to be here one day. Right now, because of the pandemic, everything is put off, so we won't see it sometime next year. But at least you got the ball rolling on that. That's something we need to have done. So at this time, no, that's really about it. Still,
I wanted the mayor to say, we know we can't do everything. We talked about the bathrooms and that, and I don't know if I should refer to you or to the mayor to say something about that.
So I can talk about that.
All right.
So if we think about it as, it's not just the safety director, but as the chief executive officer, right? Very first thing that we need to do is we need to address what would allow our safety forces to operate more efficiently, more effectively, provide better service. So, thank council, right? As you just heard, you've approved close to 400,000 just with the LPR, the body cams, the shot spotter, the
Body cam.
what's the thing
The
that
license
rushed the
plate
thing?
Shots or
Start change. Right, that's about 500,000. I think back just a little bit with all the cars, right? The new paddyway. Transfer that over to now fire department, because what we're doing is increasing their ability to provide the services. That comes first, right? Got a 100-foot ladder truck, got a pumper being worked on, got a fire truck. We got 2 F-150s, the Silverados, excuse me. Our chief is getting a car, right? So that now they can get out in the community and provide these services. They can go put up the smoke detector. Right? Like take his own car, right? Body cams for the fire department, the equipment fire department, right? After we cover all of that, I'm gonna do the job, then we go into, okay, what would allow them to now come back here and then complete the rest of the job easier. So that would be equipment, computers, phones, you got the phones, right? Spruce up the place a little bit. That's why we're in the bathroom, right? With the fire department, especially they have a kitchen, right? They didn't mess around. They in their kitchen, they redid their own kitchen, right? But that's where we would go next. And then we come back and reassess to what's left. Of course, the city for fire, right? That's where that is. And when I talked to both the chiefs, I said, okay, well, let me try the explanation, council. So we don't go through this long exercise of writing all this stuff out, much of which, thanks to council, has been addressed anyway. You guys passed all the legislation for the vehicles, right? So I think we're on a good track to get all that done.
Are you guys okay? How in general, how did the firefighters feel right now? Did they like the fact seeing council people come and check them out?
Definitely, they all said they're happy to see you guys.
Okay, and we're happy to work with you guys. The whole thing is we're working together. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do, work together. I thank the council people that you kind of got us over there. That was my first time ever going to 2. Now, I've been to 1 all the time. I've never been to 2. So I thank the council people for that. Yes, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
Where's the council?
So,
Okay.
I did talk to the fire department.
Okay.
I'm sorry. the
Okay.
Chief's EA.
Uh-huh.
We do have a car for you. We have an Impala.
Okay. And
I don't know what year, but I'm told you pretty good.
Well,
We don't want that.
well, my thing was that, over the last 6-7 years, we've had a car that just sit there because the clerks never use it. Okay, so I said, we don't need to spend $3,000-4,000 for it. I said, just a car that functions would be sufficient. So, I don't know if the clerks are gonna use it or even the council people are gonna use it. So, if the council think we need to get another car, that's another thing. But I think that I'm based on experience, what we've done. It's just sit out there. We never use it. So, okay, go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
This is a new day. We gonna use the car and we need one to be updated. All these new cars they can ride in and cars, all these big price cars, y'all be good out there. We don't be time for us to get upgraded and get the gas. It's so high, so yeah, we don't need to ride, the cars don't need to be riding around with their old car, no, the gas is high.
I'm glad you brought that up. How are we doing, Mayor, with the city, with the gas? It looked like it's gonna be up to $6 before this Ukraine situation runs its course.
So we are feeling it
Okay.
as, you know, every
I'm
other
glad you brought that
consumer
up, Doc.
that's buying gas. We are definitely feeling it.
Yeah, we feeling that too, when we ride in our cars, trying to see the neighbors and stuff.
Well, thank you. Anything else you want to share with us?
One thing I need from you all or even there is somebody to reach out to the civil service. Talk to them. So I'm trying to. For like
Civil service? Okay, man, go ahead.
My apologies. If we did not pay the cows out on FMLA,
yes, I do that.
so we've been getting calls today about FMLA when they're gonna meet, and then there's another one she's over that, when are they?
Well, it wasn't about getting an attorney to meet with the national, so I know she's the secretary. Those three.
Yeah,
decisions.
so it's like getting a new HR director, right? I think she's due on the 4th. I hate to push you off till then, but
Yeah, I need to know something. Like I said, I've been trying to reach civil service. So I know if you knew how to get in touch with them, so I can talk about this. I've been trying to.
let's talk offline. I'll get you Belinda Kyle's cell phone, and that way you can talk to her about reaching the civil service. I actually.
I have their numbers, just can't reach all that, so.
Really?
But if she can help out, that's fine.
Yeah, because she kind of ran on it.
Okay.
Okay, anything else we need to cover? We got it done in an hour. I want to say to all.
That would be.
Huh?
Are you done with this?
Yeah, wait, I just want to say between the police and the fire, it's been a very positive meeting, a very productive meeting. We appreciate all of you.
And
All
we're gonna
right.
try to get you else, because when we walk through there, we're gonna try to get you some help, but.
I appreciate it. There you go.
No, Smith, anything you want to say?
Thank you, Chief.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay.
629.
629, the Health and Safety Committee is adjourned. And Tracy, do we move?
We're going to stop this